older and more things transpire in life, I look forward to those moments a little bit more. Possibly a little Anthony running around.
Whatever we agree on, I'm big on that. The
All right, Cynthia and Anthony. I know there wasn't much to go on per se, like there was loads to go on, but I want to get your thoughts on that. We did see a little little something last week when they were talking, having a little bit of their conversation. It was brief, but we saw a little bit of that, and then this week we see they're having a really good date. They've got a Haitian connection as well. So, I want to get you guys' thoughts. What are we seeing right in front of us? Do you believe the connection? Do you think they can go far? Like, do you think it's producer built? Like, what's your thoughts on this connection with Cynthia and Anthony? We want to hear your thoughts. Who would like to go first? If you move your head, I'm going to choose you. All right, fantastic. Sophie laughed. Sorry, Sophie, go for it.
Did I move my head? So a quick red flag. I mean, this is the second guy she's kind of fallen pretty hard for right away. So, I mean, like real quick. So easy on the eyes is something, maybe one of her weaknesses.
Just wait, Sophie, before you go anywhere, just say that again. Just say that again.
Easy on the eyes. I don't know. She's falling too quickly, two red flags. Yeah, and it's hard. It's not just, oh my God, he looks good. It's, wow, she's just captivated. And hey, maybe she hasn't dated in a while, and seeing all these handsome men might, make her react a certain way. But I think it's not a good way to lead, and especially if you're ready to love and ready to have a relationship, because then you'll fall for anything. And I think he noticed that. I think he noticed that she was like, wow, really mesmerized by him, captivated by him. Who was the young man that left before? Andre, is it? Yeah,
Andre.
it was the same energy. She was feeling him real strong. You got to vet people out, is my my opinion. Like, you got to give him a few more times to prove who he is. Don't just go for what he looks like. The chocolate, the suit, the beard, all of that. Yes, but even if you feel it, you can hold that to yourself for a little bit. Give him some time to prove himself to you. I think she's sweet. I think she's beautiful. I think she expresses herself really well. She has a lot going. She's a great catch, but there's a little bit of hold off, wait until this person proves who they are before you go ahead and jump in. So maybe she's a little excited, but he seems to be pretty mature, and see, he's holding his cards back a little bit. She was more interested in him in this situation than he was. Even though he complimented her, he said she was great, he's still more reserved. He's still going to give it time. I don't know if contestants on this show have to decide right away. I mean, they do, and I think that's what kind of makes this is not so reality based. But yeah.
Appreciate the point, Sophie. Thank you. Who wants to go next? The Haitian connection. Go for it, Sean. Do you agree?
Hey, listen. If I don't get a compliment like that when I cut the corner, I don't want it. And that's all I gotta say about that. So, look, I think she has a bit of self-awareness. She did mention in her, she was, I think, in whatever those things are called, the confessionals or whatever they're called, that she didn't want to appear like she's just liking everybody. So I think there's some, she does have some self-awareness, but, there's nothing wrong. If she likes somebody, she likes them. I don't think there's anything wrong at all, as long as she is genuine. Right now, if it's fake and she's lying and that's not authentic to who she is, then I would be disappointed. But if that's who she is, I happen to like it, and there's nothing wrong with it. And as long as she maintains boundaries she won't get taken advantage of. And I think that's probably what may trigger some women or get women concerned, is when they see a woman that does act like that. They're like, oh, the men are going to take advantage of her, da 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 da. But a good man will see that and appreciate her for what she has, right? And I think she's seasoned enough to know if the person that she is giving compliments to, or enjoying their company, if they're not meeting her needs, or if they're doing things that are disingenuous, then she'll know what to do to cut it off. That's it.
Okay, I hear you. I personally, I mean, I agree with Sophie. I'm not saying it's a red flag per se, but it was a little, a little flag, a little flag was waving, it was that's a little flag was waving. So, and it's not, again, I'm not, and I know some people might not agree, but it's up to them. But I'm not saying she can't be excited about dates. I just said the same thing as you, Sean. If I cut the corner, I want to see you be excited for me, that you see me. That's not where I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that she almost sounded like she was already mesmerized by Anthony, and we barely got to, and we are as an audience, based on the edit, we barely see what's happened. And it's actually the same thing she did with Andre. It's the exact same thing. It's like we barely saw anything with Andre, and suddenly it was like, Andre's the best thing since sliced bread. So if you do it twice, I'm looking at it going, you know what I mean? Like if my boy was like, if my boy tells me, listen, yo, fam, I met this girl, she's amazing, bro. And then you come a week later and tell me, bro, I met this other girl, she's amazing. Like, I'm looking like, bro, you kind of rush things, bro. I need you to chill, because you get excited and tell us about how amazing they are, and you ain't really got to know them on a deeper level. What's really exciting? That's what I'm trying to figure out, because again, she's done the exciting thing. So that's my only precaution. It's not to say that she's wrong. It's say I'm being cautionary, because I was a little bit like, oh, with Andre, I was a little bit like with the Andre thing, and then you did it with this which one here with Anthony. I don't know if she got a thing for the A's, but it was a little bit like, oh, just
You know what?
Yes, sir.
And it's so funny, when I met my ex-wife, she used to just, everything was, she would always just say, oh, this is amazing. Oh, this person is amazing. That person is amazing, right? And I used to be like, well, what's so amazing about them? Like, everybody can't be amazing, And then she just stopped, and she was like, gosh, why are you gonna be so, like a Debbie Downer kind of thing? And I think it helped her to kind of think about it differently. But what it did most for me was I begin to enjoy that energy, because sometimes you need, like, if you're feeling down and you have somebody that is like super, super positive, and yes, sometimes it can be silly, or it's, but if they're just like brightening your day and they like have that kind of energy, I think I'll take that over anything else, over the extreme end of it. So I just happen to enjoy that. And listen, this is my ex-wife, and this is one of the things that I fell in love with her, because those positive vibes that like transcends into other places. So I happen to like that kind of energy. I enjoy it. I enjoy someone who doesn't feel jaded and can just be positive, and it's infectious. So that's my take on it.
I'm agreeing with you. Again, I'm agreeing with you. I want the energy. I want the vibe. I'm saying it's the words that she says in the confessional that gives me pause. Like if she was a man, I would tell the ladies to run, because whenever men start getting so excited about what they just see without really getting to know the person, that's when I start. Whoop, you need to pull up, because if the appearance is what's getting you excited, that is starting to overflow and overbubble, what are you really looking at? That's the only, as I said, it's precautionary. I want people to understand what I'm saying. It's not about the fact that she's excited per se. It's the fact that she's like, and it's almost as if that he's the most amazing thing since sliced bread. Baby, I need you to chill. Okay, compliment him, do all that kind of stuff on a date. That's not what we're arguing about. But when she's in a confessional, she pretty much said the same thing for Andre too. And it was like, baby, do you really know him like that? Like, you're saying it like he's the most amazing thing since sliced bread. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, someone said the Haitians fall in love quick. Well, that's my point. If you fall in love quickly, this is what you might have to be precautionary over, because the dating game ain't no joke out here. You know what I'm saying? So you might need to open your eyes. I'm a person too. I can fall in love really quickly, but I learned how quickly you get burnt when you get excited about things that are surface level, not actually what are underneath the surface level. So I'm not saying that she's actually doing that, but I'm saying that just a precaution because the streets are cold out there. Jay, I see you looking. So go on.
I'm like in between both you and Sean. I love the positive outlook on life. I love people that is like that. Like Sean said, when you're having a bad day, those are the people that you want to gravitate to. Being one of those people that see the good in people, a lot of times that could be definitely a negative because you overlook the obvious red flags, you overlook the obvious negatives in that person because you're so drawn into the good in them that you hold on to that, and it outshines all the real reality of what that person can be. But I do recall her saying she likes what she likes. She ain't got no type. And I'm not even sure if she hinted at being a sapio or not, being that she's attracted to your intelligence, your personality, your conversation more so. Her and Andre have had, not Andre, I'm sorry, Anthony have had the conversation last week on the boat. They were vibing, they were gelling. I don't know how much conversation they've been having over the phone, and that's probably what we're missing out on is those phone conversations that they're having. So to have the phone conversation, you get to know each other, you get those high school vibes over the phone, and then to see the man walk around the corner looking nice in a suit, you know, you're going to be overly excited as well. I don't know how many of you other women have experienced it, but when you on the phone and you already getting those little goosebump feelings about this person, and they come walking in, and the way that Kojo wants to look at them, when we start looking at them, we trying to bring it down a little bit, and we start doing the little facials and stuff, but we going on the inside, we see them or whatever. And so a lot of them is aligning. So to put all of that together, I can see where she's overly praising and overly excited. So part of me is like, I don't really see it as a red flag, especially because Andre's situation was something a bit different. It was more so of, he's lending me a shoulder, and that was nice for him to just be open and polite in this moment while I'm being vulnerable, not to do anything else. It wasn't like, oh, I want to see Andre every day and all that, because she was obviously not really talking to him. Why Seaway pointed out last week, they hadn't had the conversation about him not showing back up or whatever. So it's like, I didn't see her doing too much. And if we take that little snippet, was it her or Morgan? Nope, that was Morgan talking about, she was talking about Anthony, so never mind. But, you know, they've had that good conversation on the boat last week. So I'm just trying to combine everything together. Plus, she's getting a late start. So, and Sean, we all said it, like, I mean, people in the chat and Sean has said it already, that she is self-aware. She mentioned it, that you guys are we're going to think she crazy if she starts saying she like everybody when they come in. But there's different things. Sometimes we meet people and we like different things about them. Is it romantic all the time? No. But a lot of times it's like, you know, I like that person. They could be my friend. They could be in my life for, you know, whatever the reason is. So that's what we need to find out. What way do she want Anthony in her life? Does she see him as a boyfriend, a husband, a potential, or just a friend? So that's where we need to figure out.
Good point, Shay. JR, you want to go?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what's been said so far. So I think it's actually very refreshing to see, you know, someone who comes with a genuine, happy vibe, a happy effect, right? And that's what I get from Cynthia. The first date with Andre, I do agree with Jay. It was a slightly different date. I think it was probably daunting, it being the first date for her, and her opening up about her prior experience and him covering her the way he did. That endeared him to her in that regard, right? And at that point, she was like, yeah, I'm feeling Dre. Obviously, he's had to dip away because he's dealing with COVID. So now he's not there. She has to make another connection. And I don't think that this connection with Anthony is just out of necessity. I think it's genuine as well. It's just a different type of connection, right? The way she was cooing and gushing over him when he came around the corner, the way she complimented him when he was dressed sharp, you know, some of those compliments are not easy to come by these days. Like, we don't hear those things. Sometimes we could be with someone for a long time and we still ain't hearing that. So I think it's refreshing to see. I don't think she's rushing though. I don't think she's jumping in. Andre's not there anymore. It'll be interesting to see if he does recover and come back. What happens with her, Anthony, and Andre? But I think it's just a genuinely good date. Someone she's attracted to. He's attracted to her. They both have kids, so I think they're both playing it kind of safe because they want to establish a connection first before they get into the depth of blended families and all that. But I'm sure it will come up if it's meant to be. So and the other thing I wanted to say was those positive words or positive interactions go so far in this particular day and age, because most of the stuff we hear is negative, and we always hear what we don't want and what you're not going to do and what you're not going to say and all that other stuff. But to just have somebody just genuinely sit down and be attracted to the person opposite them on both sides, that's what I watch the show for. So I have no bad things to say about their connection.
Well, thank you, Joe. Bree, talk to me, man.
Yeah, everybody made such great points. I agree with Kojo and Sophie, and I agree with Jay and JR and Sean. I do think it's a real genuine connection that they have. They seem to enjoy each other's time. So that was really nice to see. I don't think it was fake or anything like that. And I do think they want a good relationship that'll lead to something more in the future, and that they do have children. But I will say I do agree about the precaution thing, because I know Andre's no longer in the process for right now, but it was just so quick, like how she just forgot about him. It's just like, oh, like this guy here. So I kind of understand when you say about it may not be a red flag, but possibly like a yellow flag in a way. So I would just, maybe kind of pause there. But as far as their connection, I think it's really genuine. He seems to be interested, and I don't think it's because they don't really have any other strong connections, at least not that I don't think so. I don't think they have any other connections right now. But I do think they seem to genuinely like each other. I probably would caution her to kind of just, take your time and really deep it and get to know him a little bit. But I think it's great that she gives him positive, words. I mean, he was looking handsome, and I don't see anything wrong with that, with giving him a compliment and saying like, "Oh, girl, yeah, like he was looking good." I mean, I would do it. So I don't see nothing wrong with that. But I do understand about being like, oh, like he's just so, I just can't believe it. So I would kind of caution that. I would say it's more like a yellow flag, a teeny bit of caution, but I like them together so far. So we'll see how far that, this connection will go.
Kojo,
What
you want us to do? What you want us to do? You want us to not give you a compliment when you walk in the room looking good, or you want us to give you a compliment? I'm confused now, because I mean, if everybody start dressing up and looking good when they hit that corner on her, she's not supposed to say anything.
So I did realize, I think people have maybe I miscommunicated my position. The compliments are fine. I wasn't pressed about the compliments. It was in her confessionals I was talking about. I was seeing the yellow flags, because in the day you can tell someone they look good. So long as you have control over yourself. Yeah, that's always my thing. Like you're not, you know what I mean, that you can give a compliment and you're not falling already. By all means, give the compliments. Shower people with praise a little bit. He looked good. Tell him a little something, something. What I was talking about, right, was in the confessionals where she's saying like he's almost like he's the most amazing thing since sliced bread, and I was like, wait a minute. You don't know this guy that well so far, from what we can see anyway. They might have had extensive conversations. That's where I was like, okay, we need to just pause it a little bit, because it sounds like the same thing happened with Andre. He was a little bit too excited as well about Andre. Not saying that anything bad happened, but I'm saying it just leaves you personally open to be used and abused by someone when it can see that you're literally thinking that people are amazing before you've actually gone any further. So, yes, compliment him, think he's a good looking guy. That wasn't the issue. The issue was literally the fact that it looks like you're about to put your whole heart on the line for someone you don't really, really know just yet. That's all I was saying. So that's why I was like, precaution on that area. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, not necessarily Not necessarily anything per se, you know. Like it's precautionary rather than saying actually it is, you know what I mean? So anybody out there who might be thinking that I'm saying don't compliment men, please. I'm not saying don't compliment them. What I'm saying is pay attention though, because I think people are not paying attention. Her excitement in the confessional about him was going beyond just his looks. It was going to how great he was. And I was like, we don't even know much about him. And I know people like this, not just women, men too, who get so excited about someone, but really and truly, you're excited about how good they look. You thought you've caught a big fish, right? But you don't really know that person deeply. And that's how you get played, because all your energy is in the value of how they look rather than who they actually are. So I asked, do you know why we're talking about? Do you know why we're talking about Cynthia right now? It's because none of us know what Anthony's about. We don't know what Anthony's about. The show hasn't showed us who Anthony is. I don't know who. All I know is his beard gang. That's it. That's all I know about Anthony. His beard is strong, and the oils are working. That's all I know. And he's Haitian. That's all I know.
Last week I was asking, who is this man? I swear.
Yeah, but
everybody's picking him. That's the crazy thing too.
Yeah,
Everybody's picking him.
This is what I was about to say. Like, the thing is, I remember this is a 40-minute show and they're filming for hours, right? Mercedes and Anthony have got the least TV time out of all of the cast members. And we do know that they are dating people, otherwise they wouldn't be there. They're not mentioned at the bottom. They're not mentioned as anyone's top in particular, but they are dating people, as Morgan said in her Instagram, and they're just not showing the dates. Now, I think there's a reason for that. I think they're the least problematic. Like, when it comes to TV, there has to be some element of drama or some storylines that they can stitch together. I don't think they've got much for Anthony and Mercedes. So that's why especially Anthony, he's had very little TV time. And I agree, not much is known about him. He's a nurse. He's got a child. But he doesn't seem to come off as problematic or confrontational. You don't even hear much from him in the men's lounge. Like, so I think it's just a question of, let's get the most problematic people or storylines on the show, fit it into the 40 minutes, and then the boring people, yeah, we can kind of not show them. You know, that's what I think.
It's given Demetrius from last season. Can't lie to you. Just because someone's not getting shown does not mean they're unproblematic. Sorry, it's giving Demetrius stuff. I'm just gonna be real with you, because if you're killing it on these dates with other people, they at least can show you some dates. Do you know what I mean? That you're building connections with people. I'm not saying the women aren't saying what they're saying, but they said the same thing about Demetrius last season. A lot of ladies had connections with Demetrius. At one point, we wasn't wondering even if Joy had connections with Demetrius at one point. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, she didn't. I don't want her killing me, but you know what I mean. Like, it seemed like a lot of people had a connection with Demetrius. I hear that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying anybody's bad. I'm just saying I'm just throwing some caution. You know
If you think about it, every season they had somebody like this one. What's up with Phil? Phil, we didn't know who Phil was for a while, and then he popped up with 4 or 5. Demetrius popped up with 4 or 5 likes and stuff. They seem to do this all the time, where they just keep somebody off into the shadow for whatever reason, and then they pop them on the screen, and we like, they got somebody new. Where he come from? Like, so yeah, I'm not gonna hold off. He's not problematic, but we need to see
give
more.
A few more episodes.
Yeah,
Demetrius was at the end where his problematic came out. I'm gonna hold off. I can't trust men anymore. I'm so sorry, y'all be letting us down every season. So I ain't gonna put my eggs in your basket. So I'm gonna wait to the end, towards the end of the season, and see what you got, because they be letting us down. Okay, Demetrius was so good at the beginning, and he was quiet, and he was into himself, and then it got to the end, and then his stuff started stinking. Just saying. Just, I can't put my eggs in their basket. So I appreciate you. I'm just saying I can't ride you on that bus, because they be letting us down every season. Every season. No, but good. It's good. That's good. I'm hearing your points of view, guys as well, and I can see you have different points of view as well. Anyone else got a thought on Anthony maybe as well? Anyone else got anything about Anthony? Anything they've noticed maybe that we haven't really spoke about? Because again, I haven't seen much Anthony, but if someone's picked up something, maybe, you know, in regards to connections or what he's done. Any thoughts there? No, none at all.
I know this is not related to the show per se. It's just going back to what Morgan was saying when she was saying her compliments and all that, or her stuff was towards Anthony. Anthony probably is a problem, you know what I'm saying? Like, because she was screaming that he wasn't showing no affection and all this. Yet everybody else in the thing is either Morgan or Anthony. One of them is a problem, but she was screaming at how he wasn't showing no affection or whatever. That's what she claimed. Those words was to him, not Tony. So, but everybody else seemed to be getting it because everybody else calls his name in the lounge. So I don't know. Yeah, we need to see more episodes on this man because I don't know what's happening.
Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. All right, cool. We'll move it on then, and our next couple we'll talk about, our next discussion now is the Jeffrey and Demario situation that came up next. Let's have